The famous physicist Faraday once looked back on his life like this. If I hadn't left my father's blacksmith shop, I wouldn't have gone to the streets to be a newspaper boy. If I hadn't said goodbye to my partner who delivered newspapers together, I wouldn't have gone to the bookstore to be a bookbinder, nor would I have seen Sir David's work. Later, I was fortunate to become Sir David's apprentice, but if I hadn't left him, I wouldn't be who I am today. When I was young, I felt that I had more friends and more ways. After experiencing more, I gradually understood that many things were seen through after countless turns, and many growths were awakened after the crowds retreated. As Jia Pingwa said, "It's not a bad thing to lose someone. The end of a relationship often allows you to gain more than its beginning." The writer Liu Tong had a good friend who talked about everything in college. After graduation, Liu Tong stayed in Hunan, and his friend went to other cities. Over time, the two lost contact, until one day the friend went on a long business trip. As a result, for a full 2 months, the friend didn't want to reunite with him, and he also tacitly didn't take the initiative to come. Later, when Liu Tong mentioned this incident in one person, he sighed. "Those people you thought you would always walk together, you don't know when they got separated on the road." Life is like the sea, and it flows on its own. Everyone has their own ferry and boat. No matter how good the relationship is, friends will take different paths due to different circumstances. It is difficult to let go, and separation is a torture to each other. Accept it calmly, and separation is also a kind of fulfillment. John Lennon was the lead singer of the famous band The Beatles. Years of cooperation allowed him and other members of the band to accumulate deep friendships. However, for various reasons, the Beatles were forced to disband. At the farewell performance, John shed tears on the stage and bid farewell to his friends who had been together day and night. Even the majority of fans hoped that they would be able to sing together again one day. However, John soon found that after leaving the band, he could devote himself to creating anti-war songs. Paul McCartney, who co-singed as the lead singer, released a more personal record, and the other members of the band have also achieved good results in their careers. John then realized that the breakup of the Beatles was not so terrible. Instead, everyone could be free and find a field that is more suitable for their own development. Investor Feng Luan said, "If you are always surrounded by the same few friends, it only means that you have been standing still. Not all relationships can accompany you to the end. On the train of life, each station has its own separation, but each battle also has its own scene. Go forward boldly, don't be afraid of getting separated. You will have a new life, and you will also meet the new self." 2. Percy Shelley and Mary Godwin were once praised as the most talented couple in the British literary world. However, for a long time, Mary was willing to be the woman behind Shelley and concentrate on doing housework at home. She often read the love poems that Shelley wrote to her, and felt that as long as the other person was by her side, she would have nothing else to ask for. Until one day, she accidentally discovered Shelley's new love poem, and the recipient was not her. This love letter broke the originally happy marriage, but it also made him see another way of life. He no longer expected Shelley to write anything for him, but picked up a pen to write his favorite stories. And she eventually became the mother of science fiction, with the publication of Frankenstein in 1818. In fact, who in this world has not been like Mary? She values a relationship more than herself, longs for a lifelong relationship, and yearns for a friendship of mutual understanding. After repeated disappointments, she finally recognized human nature and herself. Thinking of the past of Jobs and Scully, in 1983, Scully joined Apple on the recommendation of Jobs. Jobs not only regarded him as a confidant, but also assigned him the most important computer business. As a result, when the company's operations were in trouble, Scully joined the board of directors to drive Jobs out of Apple, and the colleagues who once fought side by side broke up completely. But Jobs also got the opportunity to work and study at Pixar. In the new environment, he deeply reflected on his past business philosophy and the way he got along with others. A few years later, Scully was also kicked out of Apple for poor management, while Jobs returned with a new attitude and led Apple to become one of the companies with the highest market value in the world. How many people's transformation began with complete disappointment in a relationship? As Zhang Shaoxian said, "All unrequited relationships are to eliminate some illusions you have about the world. Don't overestimate human feelings, don't underestimate human nature." From now on, don't be eager for various relationships, and focus on the path you want to take. 3. When I was a child, I watched Old Things in the South of the City, and there was a sentence that impressed me the most. Dad's flowers have fallen, and I am no longer a child. Ingzi, who has been most dependent on her father since childhood, did not cry as usual when she heard the news of her father's death, but immediately rushed to the hospital from school to help her mother with the funeral. She behaved calmer than many adults. From then on, she was no longer accompanied by her father, and she seemed to have grown up suddenly. Marquez once said, "The essence of life is to live alone. The person who once sent you an umbrella will not come as expected on every rainy night. And every relationship that comes to an abrupt end is teaching you to be your own roof." Chang Yanqiu has shown extraordinary talent in opera since he was a child. Many people surrounded him. Some wanted to take him as an apprentice, and some took the initiative to provide him with ways. With the support of these people, Chang Yanqiu was able to sing opera without worrying about other things. Who knew that since the age of 15, his originally clear and beautiful voice has gradually become low and turbid. After several unsuccessful medical treatments, everyone left him. Chang Yanqiu felt lonely and helpless. Not only could he not sing well, but even his basic life was difficult to guarantee. In desperation, he had to be self-reliant while learning vocal skills by himself. As a result, during this period of time, he explored a singing method that had never been seen before. This singing method not only makes up for the defects of the voice, but also makes the timbre more mellow. With his own efforts, Chang Yanqiu returned to the stage in just a few years and became a master who created the Chang School. Liu once said, "Don't take it for granted that others will always help you. Nothing is taken for granted in any relationship. If you say you are unreliable, then no one is reliable. If you are reliable, why rely on anyone?" Instead of clinging to a relationship for the sake of your past sense of security, it is better to accept it calmly and work hard to live your own harbor in the days to come. A person's growth history is his farewell history. It is those who left you who made you what you are today. The end of any relationship indicates that your destiny is about to change. Follow and like it, and encourage your friends. All unrequited relationships are to eliminate some illusions you have.